G'day everyone, how you going? And welcome to the second Rodeo podcast with Symesy. Today we are joined by the man, Nick Wolfe from the Wolfe Brothers. Nick, how you going, brother?
Mate, I'm doing very well. Nice to be chatting with you today.
Yeah, it's been a little while since we've caught up. I think the last time we actually caught up was when I tried my when I tried my first podcast, probably down in the Gold Coast at Broadbeach Country.
Oh yeah.
Groundwater, I think it was. So
I thought it was in that the back of that pub where we played. It was like a shed. I can't remember that in Brisbane there somewhere. It was really cool.
Yeah,
but the backstage room wasn't too good. There was like remember there was that thing. It was like, don't go out that back door. Why is that? Oh, the ground's full of syringes. So great. Okay, that's cool.
Oh man, that's right. Yeah. That's right. I remember that now. Yeah, that was it. Like, I'm not going to say the hotel just in case I get it wrong, but it was one of the pubs in Brisbane anyway. And yeah, that was a good.
I mean, it wasn't their fault. Like, you know, it's not their fault that the back of their shed's being used as a drug.
Yeah, pretty
area.
much.
But,
and like, hey, where's the toilets? Oh, there they are outside.
Yeah,
the same spot where all the needles are.
Beautiful.
No, that was good. I was actually like, praying that the roof wouldn't fall down us in that little back room too that night. So I think it was pretty dodgy. But anyway, it was a good gig, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. The backstage areas seem to always be the bit like, no matter what renovations happen at a venue, they'll never do like the band area. It's just like, yeah, I get it. I guess it's the lowest priority, but yeah, geez, we find ourselves in some cubicles and closets and different things over the years.
Yeah, man. Oh, tell me about it. I've sort of seen some pretty shitty areas, but some of them when you're like, oh man, this guy will be looked after. Nah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, there's some beers in there, but just be careful, sort of thing. Don't step on the syringes.
We've had some good ones over the years too. We did one at far north Queensland somewhere, and they basically, our band room was at like a park, which also had like a gym in like a hall with a boxing ring in it, and that was our green room. This whole gym with a boxing ring. So Tom and I obviously, got in there and lived out our fantasies of WWE wrestling, and that's probably one of the best ones we've had. But they're always good.
And I remember when I was playing in a band back in high school, and it didn't matter what the backstage room was like. We were like, fuck, we've got a backstage room. How cool is this?
Yeah.
Like 17-year-olds just drinking tinnies before we, played 50 people or something like that. And we just thought we were rock stars, eh?
Oh, mate, it's never taken for granted. It's always bloody amazing to be out doing it. And, hopefully we can get back into doing it more very soon. But I just can't believe I'm still sitting here at home,
Yeah.
Far out.
You guys,
how's this happened? Like,
I don't think anyone thought it was going to go this long. Let's be real. It's probably going to be gone, maybe like a quarter of the way through 2021. They'll sort it out. Someone will sort it out. I mean, I don't know who someone is, but someone will sort it out, surely.
That's kind of it, eh? There's always, we have it so good in Australia here that is kind of the thought. Like, it's always this kind of thought of like, I mean, it's going to get sorted. We're in Australia. It always gets sorted,
Yeah, it would have been fun.
Yeah, so
we'll go into that in a little
works. Yeah,
we'll go into COVID in a little bit, but I sort of just wanted to throw it back. So let's where did you grow up in, and sort of how was school life and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, so we're from down in southern Tasmania, in a place called Nika. Our family's been there for since about 120 years or so. We've had the farm down there, little small fruit farm. There was a lot of that back in the time, not huge places, but like orchards and small fruits all down in this valley, down in sort of south of Hobart, in the foothills of Mount Wellington. And basically our family's always been berry growers and musicians. Our great grandfather was a fiddle player. My grandfather, who I never met, he played a bunch of different instruments. Apparently, he had a thing like the Wolfe family orchestra where they'd go around Tassie and play different, halls and barn dances and all sorts of things like that. And he was mainly a sax player, I believe. But then Dad and my uncle played with him a bit, and then my dad, he was a drummer in a band, Midnight Revival. They were from sort of a cover band. They did release a couple of original things back in the 70s, but basically known as a cover band. But Dad's really into sort of Creedence and Rolling Stones and Beatles, and that was kind of his jam. Yeah, so it was sort of inevitable that Tom and I would end up playing music in some way.
Yeah.
We've just always been around it, going to sound checks with Dad back when we were kids, or there'd always be instruments laying around the house. And as for like country music, I think Mum's probably responsible for that more than anyone. Mum was heavily into the country music boom of the early 90s when Billy Ray Cyrus, Achy Breaky Heart, James Blunt, Way Out West, Kernigan was going gangbusters. Although Dwight Yoakam, Garth Brooks, of course, Alan Jackson, all those sort of iconic names, and it was really Shania, exactly, so I think like that's where country kind of got into our DNA, as well as being from the country, of course. But it's sort of that we weren't. I mean, when we were teenagers, we went far more into like playing metal and all that sort of stuff, because that's what you do when you're a teenage boy,
Yeah,
and that's great. And I still love metal and rock and all that sort of stuff. But we found when we started writing songs and writing our own stuff, country is kind of what came out,
Yeah.
So,
He's got a good sound. I really enjoy it. So what's with like sport and that sort of stuff? Because you're into footy. Like what's for starters, like who's your team?
Well, Tassie's a very AFL, state. I didn't even know rugby was a thing until I was probably 12. You just didn't see it. It wasn't like maybe Origin would be on TV or something. But so we're Carlton fans. So it's been a terrible time since honestly, I don't really watch much football now. Probably the last season I watched was probably 1995 when Carlton won they lost one game or something and won the premiership, and then it's been just a depressing ride ever since then. So haven't watched a lot of footy, and every now and again I try and get back into it, but I don't know, man. Like it's so many rules, and
there's so many rule changes,
and like I don't know why they're being stopped. Like someone looks at someone wrong and they get a free kick. Like
that's it.
I have days of Craig Bradley running down the ground, taking 5 bounces and kicking the goal. Like, when was the last time you saw that?
Yeah.
It's just not like that anymore. It's not. I don't personally find it that entertaining to watch. I don't know what they can do to fix it.
I think
my father-in-law had an idea. He said it'd be a better game if you had to have a certain amount of people in each end of the ground at all times, so it would free it up for people to run more and that sort of stuff. I don't know. It's just, to me, it's not that fun to watch anymore. But
okay. See, I'm a Pie supporter, so it hasn't been that fun to watch anyway.
Yeah.
So, but I sort of, growing up in Brizzy, I go for the Lions as well. They're sort of my second team. The only reason I go for Collingwood, people always ask me why, because I'm from Brizzy, but it goes back to the parents and that sort of stuff, and they listen.
Of course.
They watched the Collingwood back in the day, and that's where they sort of grew up. So, yeah, that's why I go for both. But it's good. It was good to see the Lions sort of get to where they did, and then they lost by 1 point. I was fucking devastated. Like I had to walk downstairs the other night. Lisa was like, "Okay, you just stay down there. If you hear me, like sort of, if I'm quiet, then probably don't come back up because it means they've lost."
Yeah.
She was quiet, but I'm like, nah, maybe she's just quiet because like she's just concentrating. Something exciting's happening for us, but no, it wasn't. We lost.
I'd love to see. I think it'd be great for Tassie to have its own team, and I think
I reckon it would be too.
Honestly, people would support it. Like, obviously, everyone down Tassie's got their teams already, and as I say, we're very much an AFL state more than anything else. But people would get on board, and I just like, I guess the issue has always been, is the population enough to sustain the club down here
financially?
I don't know. I mean, like, you look at like Great Western Sydney, like, is there much of
Yeah, yeah, I get
AFL fan base out there. Like, I
yeah.
suppose it's just way more people. I don't know. Who
Mm.
knows? But
Yeah, I guess it comes down to the actual population of it. You know, you're bound to find like a half decent percentage somewhere, sort of thing. There's so many people down there.
yeah, yeah. Well, fingers crossed one day we can get a side down here, and I'm pretty sure everyone will get on board in a big
Yeah, man.
way.
Yeah, until then you've got Hawthorn.
Yeah, yeah, we do. We do have
So
Hawthorn.
yeah.
I think
Uh,
there was some deal where, like, if they won the premiership, we had to pay like $1 million or something.
really?
It's things like that, yeah.
Yeah, and you were
Which I
like,
don't know. I don't know. I mean,
hopefully they
it's
win. So then,
obviously must bring a lot of money down here.
yeah.
Well, when COVID wasn't a thing, and they let people from other states come
Mm,
down, probably
mm,
made them a lot of money. But
yeah,
yeah, probably not working out too good currently when you can barely get into the state.
yeah, yeah. That's
So
true.
might
That's
want to
true.
look at that business model,
Yeah.
perhaps.
And so while we're on the topic of business, so how's the berry farm going?
Yeah, Tom's. I mean, I can't take any credit for that. I've stepped back a bit from that, to be totally honest with you. Tom's doing some really cool stuff at the moment. Basically, the way it's always worked is nothing happens apart from 10 months of the year, and then over summer it's just madness in when
Yeah.
it's all ripe and it gets picked, and we have fruit pickers come in. And it's all pretty much sold, a lot of it from the farm. Got a shop on the farm where it's sold.
Okay. Yeah.
And Tom's, since Dad's gone and Tom's taken a bit more of a role, he's looking at ways at, making a bit of income the other 10 months of the year.
Yeah.
And so he's worked on these chocolates, which are like freeze-dried berries, dark chocolate coated.
Yeah,
And
man. We bought some. Lisa
what do you
loved
think?
them. Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually, yeah, like I was like, yeah, I'm pretty like plain Jane. Like I drink, I eat like chalky almonds and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really like sort of stray too far from it. And then Lisa's like, no, these are good. These are good. We'll be ordering more. But I love jam. So, I got a jar of jam
Yeah.
and it was gone within like probably 3 or 4 weeks. So
Well,
it's
there's
good
not a lot
stuff.
of so he's doing jams as well, obviously. I thought the chocolates were really good. Like he's done gooseberries and yosta berries currently, which are
Mm,
two pretty random berries in this day and age. They're very much an old,
yeah.
they're pretty old school. They're old grandparents making pies and jams, sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I thought that was very cool idea. To get into some new markets and I guess jump on the back of the band as well,
Mm,
and sort of get it out there, and they don't have to come to the farm. You can post them out, and thankfully Australia Post reversed that thing where they were going to stop sending perishables.
oh,
So
yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why you would.
Sometimes they just make up some weird rules. Like, I mean,
Well, they
Australia
must
Post,
make so much money from
yeah.
that. Like, why would you want to not do that?
Yeah, why do
I
you want
don't
to stop
know.
it, sort of thing? So, I mean, like I have good and bad experiences with them. So I have to use them obviously every day nearly for second rodeo, and I have my local post office that I go to, and they're good to go. I can rock up there, everything's just placed on the counter, and they're like, and I'm like, cheers guys, have a good day, and they're like, catch you later, mate. I go to another one, and like because everything's paid for, like all my labels and all that that's stuck on the boxes, they're good to go. So
Mm.
you're supposed to be able to just rock up, drop them off. That's the whole deal. But then some of them are just, oh yeah, just wait over there, sort of thing. You're like, man, I might as well just be waiting in line with, with everyone
Yeah,
else, sort of thing.
yeah,
Because sometimes you have parcels that get delivered interstate, and they're there, like that, like so quickly. And then sometimes you got to send them to Brisbane. I'm in the same city, and it takes like a week to get there.
it's
I don't get it.
bizarre, isn't it?
Uh,
And I used to be a postman in a former life,
oh
and
shit.
yeah, I guess there's just they've got to go to different what do you call them, like
Depots and stuff.
holding facilities and distribution places. I don't really know. I mean,
Yeah.
my all I knew was I go to one shed, put them in a car, and take them to people's houses. But yeah, there must be a lot more steps to get them there. But yeah, it is bizarre how like you send one thing one day, will get like the other side of the country in a day. Be like, man, that was awesome. And
Mm,
then
mm.
some just don't ever
Yeah.
arrive, and then
Yeah.
randomly rock up one day.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I forgot about this.
Yep. Yep. Well,
My wolf
that's
cherry
what
jam.
we got. That's what we got to use at the moment. So that's all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.